Hey heathens, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to talk to you today because today is the 4th of July. It's a very important holiday in American history. It's where we celebrate our independence from the oppressive rule of King George III in England. But I don't want to talk about that today, but I don't want to take anything away from it either. Today's a very important day in Ásatrú and in our heathen faith. And that is that today is the birthday of one of our founders, Sveinbjörn Beinteinsson. So if you don't know who Sveinbjörn is, absolutely do some research today and look it up. On this day in 1924, Sveinbjörn Beinteinsson was born in West Iceland in a place called Borgarfjörður to a sheep farmer, where he also became a sheep farmer and a poet later on in his life. He later co-founded the Ásatrúarfélagið, or Ásatrú Fellowship, the Icelandic variant of Ásatrú as we know it today. But it's considerably different, and it started with a different beginning. Now that was in 1972, and in 1973 it became recognized as a state religion, one of the, the big funded, recognized religions in Iceland. Today it is a very large organization that has a lot of respect and is even working on a new hall, all because of the influence that Sveinbjörn had during his time. Consequently, this is where the name Ásatrú comes from. It came from Sveinbjörn. Ásatrú, and the way that he intended it, was true to the gods, not true to the Aesir or true to the Vanir, and all these other things that sprung up after that. All the other truths that came out are a little suspect, and you got to kind of wonder about the motives of the people who did it, because the original intent was true to the gods and those supernatural forces worth venerating. Ásatrú was and is true to the gods, or the As. And that is essentially when the name Ásatrú started to be used. It wasn't to the people in our faith, the organizations that use that in their name, that are not quite inclusive. We'll just leave that. They didn't start it, and they didn't invent the name. They co-opted it from the Ásatrúarfélagið in Iceland, and the name that was started by Sveinbjörn. So he has a very important influence there that's almost forgotten by a lot of new pagans. Now, Sveinbjörn led that organization as their Allsherjargoði until December 23rd of 1993, which consequently was just about the time that I was finding my way on the Ásatrú path. Now, we hear a lot about the racist and occult beginnings of Ásatrú and the Wicca affiliations and stuff, and sometimes we let that overshadow the true beginning, which was pure. It was a Icelandic sheep farmer coming down from the mountains and preaching this old folk way of his people that was preserved in some old manuscripts from Iceland, and you can debate the legitimacy of that. That's not what I'm here to do. But the beginning of the Icelandic Ásatrú was pure in its intent and its delivery. If you call yourself Ásatrú or Norse pagan, there's a really good chance that some of the ways that you do things and some of the things that you understand the way they are came straight out of Iceland. I don't want to take anything away from our celebrating our independence from King George III or American independence and freedom, but if you can find the time today, go on YouTube and do a little searching around and find Sveinbjörn Beinteinsson singing the Völuspá, the Sigdrifamal, the Havamal. Listen to his beautiful voice, a cappella, singing these poems in the original tongue the way they were supposed to be heard. I think that will do you a lot of good. It will reinvigorate your soul and your practice, and it will also point you in the direction of one of the founders that we don't talk about so much anymore, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and the loudmouth racists and occultists are the ones who get all the press. Let's give a little press to where it's due. Let's venerate Sveinbjörn today, one of the original founders of modern Ásatrú before it was corrupted and diluted. Consequently, this week is also the anniversary of the founding of the Northwoods Kindred. So at our birthday party, we always pay a little extra homage to Sveinbjörn for the influence that he has, not only on Ásatrú as a whole, collectively around the world, but on our kindred and our practice specifically. So don't be afraid to raise a horn to Sveinbjörn today. Hail the old gods, hail the new folk, and hail Sveinbjörn Beinteinsson for bringing us both together.